Okay, so let's pretend that I'm going to use this college data set and that this was just my project. So I finished my surveys, I closed them down, I got a whole bunch of observations. Now, what am I going to do with this? Well, the first thing that you really want to do is graph every individual variable. That's something that you can go ahead and look at so that I can see, okay, how many males and females do I have? What is my age distribution? And so on and so forth. Now, some of the things that you might want to look at is like, okay, let's say my research question was, does gender and GPA have any sort of relationship? So maybe do males or females tend to have a higher GPA, or are they considerably different? So something that you can do, you can find the mean of both the males and the females and compare them. Now, the thing here is that how are you going to do that? Because you have a male here, right, with their GPAs. Am I going to go ahead and add them all and divide it by the total? Well, that's going to take a very long time. It's really tedious. So instead, what you can do, you can ask Statcrunch to do it for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on Stat. Then I'm going to click on Summary Statistics and click on Columns. So I want to take the summary, so the mean of the GPAs. Now, I just don't want GPAs because what would happen is that if you just take GPAs, it'll take the GPAs of everyone. Now, I want to group it. I want you to break it up by gender. Okay? Here, it'll tell you everything that's going to be outputted. So when I press Compute, you'll see that this one here is the females, tells you how many of them were sampled, tells you the mean GPA, so it's a 3.4. Compared to the males, which is 40, we got 40 males and who have a mean GPA of 3.2. So we can see that there's a little bit of difference, not a lot, but there's a little bit of it. Okay, then you have these other summary statistics. Okay. Now, from there, you don't necessarily just have to do that. Also, let's say, for example, you wanted to look at GPA and major. Well, you can do that too. You can click on Stat, Summary Statistics, Columns, click on GPA and group it by, major. So when I press Compute, it'll list out all of my individual majors and it'll tell me what the mean GPA is. And we can try to figure out, okay, does it seem like there's a difference? For me, it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of considerable difference. They're all basically almost the same, or it doesn't seem like it's statistically significant. So that's something that you can go ahead and use for now. Now, let's say you really want to look at two categorical variables. So maybe looking at gender and looking at the major. Okay. So if you wanted to see if there's any differences between gender and the major, well, you can't really find a mean or a median for those because you have two different types of two different types of categorical variables. So what you can do instead, this is what I would advise. Just click on this graph button. And then what you want to do is, click on the Stat button, and then you're going to click on the Table button and click on Frequency. Okay, so what this is going to do, so let's go ahead and click on, Major. Okay, so, and then let's go ahead and group it by both male and female. Okay. So here's what this is going to pop out. So you'll get a table. Here it tells you, okay, of the females I have 39 females. Here are how many females I have. I have 5 females in the arts, 8 females in the business, 18 females in the humanities, 8 females in the STEM. Okay. Of the males, who are a total of 40 males, I have 3 of them in the arts, 9 of them in the business, 8 of them in the humanities, and 20 of them in the STEM. So already just looking at this, you can already see some sort of differences. You can see that for females, you tend to have more humanities, not as many for males. And for STEM, there's more males in the STEM and not as many in the females. So you already see some sort of differences. So this is more of a numerical way to kind of view these things. You want to incorporate these summary statistics and also some graphical usages. So you can also do a graph. So let's say, for example, I wanted to go ahead and graph with data, a bar graph. So what did I look at? I looked at major, and if I break it up between gender, then basically this gives you a graphical representation. See how you can see that for females, you can see that for the humanities, you see much more females than you see males. And then for the STEM is the opposite. So here's a graphical way to see it. And then the other one is a more numerical way to see it. So these are two things that you can go ahead and explain. Now, when it comes to the hypothesis testing, that's what the next videos are going to be about.